Yeah, yeah, Neil, I'll give you a little bit of a background of how Neil and I met. And then that bridges our connection here. And then I'd love to hear about you, and I can share about me as
Yeah,
well. Um,
sure.
my About 15 years ago, trying to think, would have been about 15 years ago, Neil took the passion test. He took that certification training,
Hmm.
and it ended up that my daughter Jen was in that same training. So she connected he and I. So we were just chatting, and then when I was living in Victoria at the time, and I was doing an energy scan training program, certification training. I put on onto my Facebook, who I need some people I can do some practice sessions on, who would love to receive a session. And Neil said, pick me. So that's
Oh,
how
nice.
he and I connected that way. And then we've been connected, and chatting back and forth, periodically being in touch. And then was it 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years, maybe have been 3 years ago. Anyways, I think 2 years for sure. No, it would have been 3 years. He messaged me on Facebook, and he said, "Hey Lorna, I'm doing my podcast, and my guest, for family reasons, had to cancel out. You popped into mind. Are you able and willing and interested in being on my podcast?" I said, "Absolutely." So that was 2 hours later. We were on podcast together, and so that has deepened our connection, and our
Nice.
frequency of connecting that way as well. And then that also started my my circuit of, okay, it's getting into podcasts. So being on podcasts, not yet getting my ready to do my own as well, but being on a lot of podcasts and being able to speak. So I really thank Neil for initiating that which was the inevitable, and that was the catalyst to get it going. So I'm really grateful for that, and I just really love him. I interviewed him on Global Light TV just on March 28th, I believe it was. And so that's where he said, "Hey, do you want me to send some other people to you to be interviewed?" And I said, "Absolutely." So just this opportunity to let people shine. So whoever they
Nice.
are and what they're doing. So that's what brings us to here in this connection. So yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic. So is Global Light TV your podcast now?
it's not. It's
Oh,
actually there's Bump Global TV, which is a new
yeah.
professional networking platform. It's just a powerful. I will share it with you because I want you to see if that might be something that really can support you in work you're doing.
Hmm.
And in that, and as Amos Bracewell, who is the founder of Bump, is also the founder of ENTV, and that's the Facebook group that we stream into.
Hmm.
And he started that just over 2 years ago, and it was just that he just felt, started a Facebook group and interview people, just give people a place to tell their story, a mic stage and an audience, and that's how he's grown his group, and it's now at 20, just topped over to 24,000 in this last 2.5 years. It just popped over that this week, and it's just by letting people
Fantastic.
tell their story. And then Bump, he took different people through their Facebook groups to grow their niche-based Facebook groups um, the way that he did. So
Mhm.
there's about 12 groups now that have done that. One of them, she just started hers about a month ago, and she's already 1,000. And again, it's not about the numbers, but it's about creating that place for people to connect and tell their
Of course.
story. And then Bump is a 30-year dream of his to create that place of professional networking, bringing people together and in a
Hmm.
gamified way. So that's what it is. And he likens it to an amusement park where there's all kinds of rides you can go on. Bump Global TV, the interviews is one of those ways. So that's one of the things that I do. I love holding space for people to tell their stories, to let them be seen, be heard, to shine, and to know that they are celebrated, accepted, all of that. So Bump Global,
Hmm.
the interviews fit perfectly into that for me. So
That's excellent.
yeah.
That's very cool. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, yeah, Neil and I, well, I've known Neil since I think 2006, and him and I attended an adult consciousness school at the time with him and his wife, and we've stayed connected all these years. So
Mm-hmm.
it's he's doing amazing things in the consciousness and spiritual community here in Calgary, and so yeah, we've been great friends. So it's I'm very grateful that he was able to like connect us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to bring us in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
um, a little bit about myself. I've been studying mysticism, philosophy, personal development for more than 20 years. And it's been a fascinating journey. I've had a lot of crazy experiences, a lot of shifts in awareness and Well, this technique this system that I've just released to the world, I just launched the website, and it all began in 2001, where I had a series of these. It's they were mystical experiences. The only way I could describe it. It was these teachers came to me in these dreams. I woke from this from sleep and was in this. It's not like a lucid dream. It was very different. It was like uh, I was somewhere else.
Mm.
And these teachers came to me over a series of nights and taught me this technique, this system.
Wow.
And it it's designed literally to reprogram the subconscious mind completely,
Wow.
very efficiently. The process, it was it was really fascinating. They connected the dots between a bunch of things that I had learned throughout my life, with psychology, personal development, um, philosophy, and whatnot, and including mysticism, actually.
Mm.
So esoteric sciences and whatnot. And then from there, they taught me not just the technique, but a whole bunch of new stuff. And it wasn't just the teaching, there was this like energy shift of a knowing how it works. And it was really cool. It was really impactful. And every time I woke up from this, came back to consciousness from this place, I immediately was started writing. And it was like, and I just didn't stop and didn't stop. And all I did was write on my phone, on my notepad, and I'm like dictating. And it was like, I had to get this out. And then, so that was in 2001, the series. And then they've come to me a few times since, initially, and to kind of add more information, um, keep me on track with some cool stuff. And then, so 2001, and then I launched it um, just a week ago. And it's been, that's 4 years of incubation, like planning and writing. I mean, I've written well over 400,000 words, maybe even
Wow.
close to 600,000. It's been really profound. I created training videos and systems and put it all together, and so it's quite powerful. What
Um,
these teachers have given me, I've been using it on clients. I even use it on myself on a regular basis, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that process. Um, well, I mean, when you've been given a gift, you use it. Like, and this thing is it's a gift to humanity.
mm.
And the power of psychology and being able to reprogram, like literally reprogram, doesn't matter what it is, addictions, um, trauma. You can heal trauma and limiting beliefs, and um, it's pretty powerful. The
Wow.
It's very interesting because it all began with Dr. Bruce Lipton's work. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Bruce Lipton from Hay House, through Hay House is what I think,
Yes.
who his
Yeah.
publisher is.
Yeah.
Um, I- when I read his book, there was it was really fascinating what he had to talk about with protein receptors. And these teachers taught me stuff that was bounced off of his work and went way much deeper. And um, that's part of my training system is, as you go through it, you get to learn what they taught me about Bruce Lipton's work, and how um, environment affects behavior,
Okay.
on a biological level and on
Yeah.
a personal level, like, um, when it comes to like psychology, thoughts and beliefs and emotions and feelings and stuff like that, and how they're being triggered. So it was a fascinating process to kind of like put it all together and create this system. The But Bruce Lipton wasn't the first one to come up with behavior or environment as a theory for biology. Antoine Béchamp back in the
Mm.
1800s.
Wow.
Um, he was the first person to bring forth this concept of environment theory, and he was ridiculed quite
Wow.
heavily. And in fact, actually, Bruce Lipton says that he was his career was threatened because
mm,
of his discoveries.
mm,
Um, and I thought that was really fascinating,
mm,
you know. But you know what? I mean, this system proves the proof is in the pudding, and the system works every single time. It is so profound.
mm,
Um, it's been a remarkable journey, and I'm really excited to actually like be able to be a part of it and help people. So and
mm,
teach people how to do it. So it's not like I don't want people coming to me. I want to teach people how to do it on themselves so that they can be empowered uh to just change their own lives,
mm.
right? They're not
Wow.
we're not victims, right?
No.
And so when we feel like we don't have tools, we do become disempowered.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, how many times have we said that the medical community has let us down, or the mental health com systems have let us down? They can't
Hmm.
help our children, they can't help ourselves, you know, and so we feel disempowered, unable to fix our problems, and this changes the game completely.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Wow. So very exciting. So, wow. It's really awesome.
yeah,
That's really great.
thank you. It's a really profound process, and I'm really excited about it. So,
Wow.
eh,
Wow.
and I'm just taking baby steps right now. I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot of new stuff. There's I'm learning about marketing, online
Okay.
marketing. Like
Yeah.
I'm not this phenomenal public speaker or anything. I'm just an average
Yeah.
Joe. I
Yeah.
mean, I own an entertainment company, and it's like I'm learning a lot. I realize that there's new challenges that I'm gonna be faced with that I'm gonna grow into. So
Yeah.
that's at
Wow.
the same time. So
Wow. Well, I just really want to, first of all, bear witness to you in all that you've shared and for your journey that brings you to this place. And yeah, now you've got this amazing thing how now to continue to get it into the world and to share it.
yeah,
So
y-
it's exciting.
most people are not when you really people want change, but they don't
Yeah.
want change.
Right.
And this system is for those that are ready for it.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously, people will be able to learn the system. I'm not going to deny anybody to learn the system, but
Yeah.
it's really the people that are going to be attracted to change that are ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the, I mean, it's just admitting human psychology, human behavior.
Yeah.
We tolerate so much in our lives, and we don't
Mm,
realize the impact or the cost that holding on to certain has in our lives. Um,
mm.
I'll give you an example. In 2001, my wife and I started a DJ karaoke company, and we do like pub entertainment, weddings, and all that kind of stuff. Now, so we do sound production, right? So when throughout that entire time, procrastination has dogged me. Never did anything about it.
Mm.
In January, I finally used this technique. I said, you know what, screw this. I am going
Okay.
to do a session on this. It took me, with the full totality of the system, it took me 3 hours. 3 hours, that's it. And I deactivated every single trigger for my
Wow.
procrastination.
Wow.
I freed myself of that energy, and
Wow.
all of a sudden, everything opened up. I
Wow.
was motivated. I was focused. Um, I was getting stuff done.
Mm,
And I'm like moving forward in a way that I hadn't been moving forward in a very, very long time.
mm,
And then I sat back and I realized the cost of me procrastinating all my life,
mm.
just in my business alone, my entertainment company, has probably cost me 1.4 to 1.6 million dollars.
Wow.
I procrastinated my way out of three expansion deals.
Wow.
Three.
Wow.
We could have grown into BC, could have grown into Edmonton and Saskatchewan, and we lost those opportunities because I
Wow.
procrastinated. They found other solutions.
Wow.
And it was really fascinating that had we been focused on expansion, where we would be right now would be very different
Mhm.
financially, just in just in the effect or impact on the community.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that was just procrastination. Like, what's the cost of doubt? When you
Yeah.
doubt yourself, look at
Yeah.
the opportunities that we miss when we doubt ourselves,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? When
Mhm.
we have low self-esteem, low self-worth,
Mhm.
how that impacts our lives. And I mean, you lose relationships, you
Yeah.
lose friendships because of insecurity.
Yeah.
Um, you you lose happiness
Mm. Mm.
and the options and the ability to experience joy in your life.
Mhm.
And uh, there's a cost to holding on to these negative patterns, holding on to
Mhm.
trauma, right? Someone who's experienced severe trauma, when you look at how that impacts themselves, beha when it impacts ourselves, there's no way but to impact our relationships around us. We don't
Yeah.
trust people. We guard ourselves and wall ourselves up and protect ourselves from hurt. And in those places, like again, we deny ourselves
Mhm.
happiness, joy,
Mhm.
freedom,
Mhm.
expansion,
Mhm.
and all in the name of protection,
Yeah. Yeah. And
fear.
and that one's they're very hot off the press. I was just speaking with a family yesterday. Well, the wife of a family, she reached out to me and she said, "Can I talk with you?" And I said, "Yeah, for sure." Anyways, yeah, they've been married for 13 years or so,
Mhm.
uncoupled for the last four, but trauma. So she's been living in this place of fear and, protecting the children. And it's gotten to the place where they're at the verge of divorce. And, that's where they're heading. That's what they both want. But, because of the whole trauma piece and the violence and the abuse and stuff, it's just kind of
Yeah,
like, yeah. So I,
and
I
that
get, like, and you say it's not just that person, how it ripples out to affect everything.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And look at this world that we're in right now,
Yeah.
right? Individually, human beings are great.
Hmm.
As a society, we suck.
Yeah. That's
Like,
true.
look at like we've been programmed to be so charged and hold
Hmm.
animosity and judgment
Yeah.
towards anyone with a different view or perception. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it just creates a ripple of disharmony.
Hmm.
And there are people, there are people that are ready for change. They're ready to,
Yeah.
you know, to not be so charged emotionally. They want peace. They
Hmm.
long for it. Well,
Yeah.
we have to let go of all the things that create disharmony within us,
Hmm.
thoughts, behaviors,
Yeah.
feelings, right? And we're clouded. I think our minds are clouded by negative thinking. And what would happen to our lives if we could minimize the amount of negative thoughts by counterbalancing it with improving the amount of positive thinking,
Mm.
you know?
Hmm.
So being able to see the truth of something, like negative thoughts, obviously, you get into your head and you start to ruminate and about stuff that does not even occurring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, you have you know, you want to talk to your partner about something and you start ruminating about how the conversation is going to go in your head, the negative pattern, they're going to do this, they're going to say this. And
Hmm.
then,
Yeah.
and, and then all of a sudden you go into the conversation and you're already charged creating disharmony. You're already got walls
Hmm.
up. And I mean, what happens is love gets removed from the equation
Mm.
when we cannot control our negative thinking.
Right.
And I really think that it's important for us as human beings to get back into this place of love and honor for ourselves and love and honor
Mm.
for those around us that we interact with.
Mm.
And it's the ego wants to get involved, that plays a role. Um, but even still, we can overcome all of that. We can still choose the highest good for all concerned in a
Hmm.
situation,
Hmm.
you know? And so it's a system like the one that was given to me by these masters that taught me,
Yeah.
these people, I energies.
Yeah.
however a person wants to describe it,
Mm-hmm.
this gift that they've given to humanity is is going to help change the world.
Mm.
And it's going to do it at a grassroots level. It's going to do it in the homes of people,
Beautiful.
right? And that's like when your child is struggling, and they're in school, they're dealing with bullying, they're dealing with um, anxiety in regards to being tested, or they're dealing with self-esteem issues, self-worth issues. When you look at the impact of those patterns not being corrected
Mm.
at a young age, how those things are going to affect their relationships,
Yeah.
it's going to affect their careers, what they feel that they can have in their life, and it's going to affect the relationships as they get older, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to pass it on to their kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because teach where we're at,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we were to correct that pattern and ingrain self-esteem, self-worth into that child, to not be afraid to um, to focus on being kind and giving, and but also being able to receive.
Mm-hmm.
If we can teach these character traits and deactivate their limiting beliefs and their misperceptions, their negative thinking, reprogram that at an early age, all of a sudden the
Yeah.
opportunities as they grow older, get into high school, and then the opportunities go, and then they're all of a sudden they're inspired to go to college or university, start their own company, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Do you see? And then all of a sudden, there's their lives become richer and fuller
Mm-hmm.
because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the beauty of this particular system is a main focus of mine is I want to help families heal that part. But to get
Mm.
there, the parents actually have to do sessions on themselves. They have to apply this system on themselves because we are also a part of our children's stress.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The way we talk to them, the way we pressure them
Mm-hmm.
to succeed. You know, when it one of the biggest things is, a child starts to begin to exert a sense of independence at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
They want to begin to exert their own will on their environment around them.
Yeah.
And we suppress that.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't understand how
Yeah.
to express their will and so they're like, you tell them to do something, go clean your room, and they're like, no, and they get staunch, right? And they put a wall up.
Mm-hmm.
If we can change the conversation and say, look, I want you to have this sense of independence. It's going to serve you well as you get older.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want you to suppress that, because if we keep saying that their behavior of them expressing their independence, they're going to
Right.
develop a pattern that, well, if I express my independence, I'm going to get in trouble. Even though they
Mm-hmm.
don't recognize that they're in the
Yeah.
moment that they're doing it in a disharmonious way,
Right.
right? It's about switching the dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Changing that way that we communicate with our kids. We need education. This system is about that.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I'm there to help people. This is what I've observed in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, I've experienced it. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up with no self-esteem as a kid. I was
Mm-hmm.
picked on and bullied, and you know,
Mm.
I was 34 years old before I could say I love you to myself in the
Mm.
mirror and actually mean it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was transformative.
Yeah.
And that was a result of actually uh, a workshop that a dear friend in BC, Hannah Laura, she she actually did a workshop with a mirror exercise,
Mm.
and I attended that here in Calgary, and it was from that exercise that stimulated this process. Um, and but yeah, so getting
Mm.
back to this concept about nurturing that ability of that sense of independence,
Mm-hmm.
but getting them to, first of all, we need to identify that their behavior.
Hmm.
and show them how it's disharmonious. But we have to stop our reaction to that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because, well, their behavior triggers us. That's why we ourselves. We need to not be triggered by that anymore.
Hmm.
And when we're able to not be triggered by that anymore, then we can approach the situation
Hmm.
in a very different light, in a very different way. And
Right.
and so then we can help our kids become something greater than the programming that we're giving them.
Yeah. That's
It's not
beautiful.
it's not saying that we're all like we're doing the best that we can with the tools we've got. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? We have new tools now that's going to change the game.
Yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
and that's really where the shift is going to occur.
Yeah. Wow. Profound and exciting. Wow. Really great. Sort of the ultimate choose your own adventure.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you do choose what it is that you want. You just pick something that you want to work on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, there's anxiety and depression. I mean, I recorded a session. Uh, Anxiety is debilitating.
Mm.
And there was a session that I recorded. It's actually on the YouTube page, and it's part of the training material where
Yeah.
you go in and in 37 minutes, I think is how long the video is.
Hmm.
In 37 minutes, this this friend Sydney,
Yeah.
who was dealing with severe anxiety, in 37 minutes was able to deactivate and release the
Wow.
anxiety
Wow.
and have the shift, just complete
Very
shift.
cool. Very cool.
And it makes a difference,
Yeah.
right?
It's really wonderful. Um, so how, like you talk about, like, how do you work with people? Is it one-on-one? So it's just
I
one-on-ones or?
I do sessions with clients.
Yeah.
I do take on clients. I've been doing it ever since I developed the system,
Yeah.
and it's been really remarkable. I've
Yeah.
done a couple hundred sessions
Hmm.
easy
Yeah.
with clients.
Hmm.
The process with this system, I want to pull myself away. I'm there to help people
Sure.
as time allows,
Yeah.
but I want my focus though to there's only one of me. I don't want to be, hey, look, I'm the guru. Come see me. I
Right.
don't have that energy. I can't stand that energy.
Yeah.
Um, it's this system was given to me to give to the world. Therefore, I have to step into a role that was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Um, I had some fears. I was fearing success. I was fearing failing. I had to release all that. I did it with this system.
Mm.
I trust the process now implicitly.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel so free. There's no restrictive energy about it all.
Hmm.
The process is I want to teach people how to do it on their own.
Mm.
They need to fix their own families. They need to fix
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting out of that poor me, I'm a victim.
Right.
I need someone to fix me. But that said, I do understand that when someone is drowning, I love this saying, this quote. I don't know who did it. When
Hmm.
someone is drowning, that's not the time to teach them how to swim. You got to
Right.
give them a life preserver,
Yeah.
right? You
Hmm.
got to save them first. Then you can
Yeah.
teach them how to swim so that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Well, this system is amazing for those people that are ready to learn how to swim,
Beautiful.
really navigate. Like I said, this is like psychology on steroids.
Mm.
It really is. It's mind blowing how effective, impactful, and
Hmm.
direct it is.
Mm.
And you don't need to see a psych. I hope psychologists take this technique on. I really do.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
change. It will change their careers, their business.
Mm.
Um, the I mean, yeah, it'll be remarkable for them
Hmm.
if that's something that they're interested in. I also want to take this to um, mental health organizations.
Hmm.
I do intend to do presentations.
Hmm.
There is eventually I'm going to talk to the government and see if we can get this into addictions and counseling
Hmm. Hmm.
programs
Yeah.
where counselors learn this system
Hmm.
for those that are interested. I mean, we want to help, but what we're
Mm.
limited in the options, the tools that we
Sure.
have.
Yeah.
And so sure, we can, maybe give somebody a little bit of reprieve from
Mm-hmm.
their stress in the moment, but they're
Right.
triggered by their stress. They're still
Yeah.
being triggered by their
Yeah.
environment. This
Yeah.
system completely deactivates the way that they're being triggered by their environment. So
Mm.
their environment comes from two places. So we have our outer experience. We're driving down the road, a guy cuts us off, we
Right.
white knuckle the wheel, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
reaction. That's a
Yeah.
trigger. We were
Mm-hmm.
triggered into that behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also signals from our inner environment, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions,
Right.
right? And so these are our inner environment, and they also impact and become triggers for behavior and other reactions. So,
Mm.
you know, uh, we've heard of the term negativity, breeding negativity. Well, that's a trigger. More
Mm-hmm.
negativity being triggered by
Yeah.
negative thinking or
Right.
behavior. And so literally this system stops it in its tracks
Mm.
when you apply it, of course, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I teach the philosophy behind it. I teach the processes, the systems, and it's there. Like the first
Mm.
level of training is there. I have there's three levels. The
Mm-hmm.
foundation is it's a 7-step process where you do
Yeah.
this stuff on yourself. And just like I did with my friend Sydney in that video with the
Right.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Then there's the accredited practitioner level, which I'm going to teach more stuff about what these teachers taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to add on to what the foundation is. That gives you more
Okay.
tools. It
Yeah.
allows you to go deeper into mental health and
Mm-hmm.
be more effective at uh, really deactivating the triggers.
Mm.
Then there's the master accredited practitioner where I give the rest of the big juicy stuff.
Yeah.
This is where you can deactivate complex mental health,
Mm-hmm.
severe anxiety, severe trauma responses, depression,
Right.
and the like. And
Mm-hmm.
this it's really the it's really profound.
Wow.
There was I remember one client I have that was dealing with suicidal thoughts, literally, and depression, and
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have those anymore.
Wow.
And it was really remarkable to see that shift.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, it's interesting because even the patterns that lead to like drug addiction
Mm-hmm.
or gambling addiction.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, our environment triggers from our environment,
Sure.
like a gambling machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're pushing the buttons, we're seeing the
Mm-hmm.
flashy lights, we
Yeah.
get that little dopamine hit of that desire of like trying to hit a win,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's it's interesting that each of those signals from the environment, literally of all the five senses, we
Mm-hmm.
deactivate process,
Mm.
and you can free yourself
Mm.
of these kind of serious addictions.
Mm.
There's a
Wow.
process. There's
Yeah.
when people want to approach stuff like that, I'm there to help. Like I
Mm.
understand the system. I've been doing it for 4 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
been growing, it's been evolving,
Mm-hmm.
and it will continue to evolve. And that's the beauty of it, because there is a growth
Mm.
process, an expansion process even within
Yeah.
this system. So
Beautiful.
yeah, it's been
Wow.
yeah. So is there any questions at all about it?
Hmm. How much of that is on your website? I got a chance to step into it when you first sent me the link that it was up. So I did that, and then life happened and got to the other thing. So I haven't delved
Yeah.
thoroughly into what's on your website. Is that
Yeah.
all of those three levels on there?
So right now I have the foundation level.
Yeah.
No one is, there's only um for the foundation level, I haven't opened up the
Yeah.
accredited practitioner level yet.
Yeah.
I do have a fast track program though. So
Okay.
if you want to fast track to the master accredited practitioner program, uh this is a 3-month fast track program.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And um or you could take the long route, which is through the foundation and do
Mm-hmm.
the accredited later on, and
Mm-hmm.
then as I offer it.
Mm-hmm.
So this process with fast tracking is you get the totality of everything that these teachers taught me,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna apply it. You're gonna change lives, you're gonna change your
Mm.
own life.
Mm.
And it's 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 something to experience, really.
Wow.
It is an experiential process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
yeah, so I do have both the foundation and the fast track program up on the website.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I look forward to diving into it more and learning more. It certainly fits with um yeah, my whole piece about one of the ways that I talk about it is life is a story, and it's, the sit back and get the popcorn going, get the popcorn and watch, because what's happening in your mind,
Hmm.
when we talk about mindset, it's not about, oh, let's think more positive thoughts. It's no,
Hmm.
look at what's happening on the stage of your mind, those characters, those triggers, the situations that are playing out there that impact, because it's very different really than what's simply happening in your world. It's like
Hmm.
you talk about, it's how we the lenses that we're seeing things through. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
The process of this system here, the foundation of it is an idea, a concept. For every single unique stressor in your life,
Mm-hmm.
stress response could be fear, anxiety, depression, it could be negative thinking, it could be
Right.
doubt, whatever it is. It's always manifesting in a specific area of your life,
Mm,
right? So I doubt my ability when I don't doubt my ability to drive, but I do
mm-hmm.
doubt my ability to be able to get along with people with this with
Mm-hmm.
this with this negative individual at work,
Right.
right? So doubt doesn't manifest necessarily in all aspects of our lives, but it'll have a
Mm-hmm.
specific expression. Well,
Mm-hmm.
every single stressor has its own unique pattern of cause and effect.
Mm,
And you trace that back, and it always goes
mm,
back to some sort of energy. So when you think about, uh, excuse me, all the things that trigger a person's reaction, well, I like to use test anxiety as an example because
mm,
I used holistic methods um, to release test anxiety, right? And so it was like, what was the things that were triggering my test anxiety?
mm,
Well, one of them actually it stemmed from my childhood, the
mm,
pressure that my parents put on me to succeed,
mm-hmm.
and me feeling I could never meet up or
Right.
amount to that pressure that they put on me.
Right.
That was one of my triggers. The other trigger is the test itself, writing the test. I would memorize the material. As soon as I came to the test,
Mm,
block, right? The test itself became a trigger for the anxiety.
mm,
The thought of failing,
mm,
right? That became a trigger. And then one at a time, there's a deactivation process within the system. And one at a time, you deactivate each and every single one of the things that you can think of that trigger
mm-hmm.
your stress response.
Mm,
And then you go into the sensory triggers. And once you deal with the sensory triggers, then at the end you go through and then you just check in, and if there's anything
mm,
unresolved, you deal with it and it comes up. And so it's tuning into, well, what is this energy? I still feel this anxiety towards being tested. Well, what is it? Then you go in, you're like, oh, what's this expression? You feel it, you bring it up and bring it into awareness is like, it's this. And then you're able to deactivate it right away. So
beautiful.
yeah, it's a pretty cool process. So
Cool. Cool. Well, I want to dive into it more because it really aligns with how I approach things. And so it's just really, really cool.
hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, the foundation is actually really affordable. I mean, it's set up and designed so that somebody with even on assistance can can basically learn this system.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, and I mean,
Cool.
eventually you can become a practitioner
Mm-hmm.
and be able to do sessions on other people and
Mm-hmm.
you know become paid to do
Yeah.
this with people eventually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If you will, give me the prices just so I can put it out there in terms of the prices for each one of them.
right now it's $100 for the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-up fee of
Yeah.
$100, and
Yeah.
then you get a month free, and then it's $15 a month after that.
Okay.
The accredited practitioner program
Yeah.
is going to be an in-person training on a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and that will have its fee, and then it'll be uh $20 a month
Mm-hmm.
for the program, and all the material, everything is all on the website.
Yeah.
And then the master accredited practitioner program, again, will be an in-person training,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be $25 a month uh as a master accredited practitioner. But
Yeah.
as a master accredited practitioner, you're probably making 75 to $100, maybe even $150 an hour.
Hmm.
So like there's some good money that can be made with doing this as a business.
Yeah.
So the actual overall fast track program is I have it right now. It is $4,500,
Mhm.
and there is I have a coupon specifically for this particular interview that's
Mhm.
$500 off. So if anybody wants to take the fast track program.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So this one here, so our this call right now isn't our interview itself.
Hmm.
Um, but that's something if when you do share it and go if you want to be interviewed, and I would love to interview you,
Hmm.
it's 15 minutes, which goes so quickly, but yet it's enough time to really present the gold, you know, the bones of it, if you will, and
Hmm.
to do that. So if that's something you want to do, I'm happy to do that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, wow, this is really it's really great. It's really great. And yeah, to watch the ripple effect happen, right? As people do it for themselves, how it impacts them, their family and different
Hmm.
clients and stuff. Okay.
There's a learning curve.
Yeah, for
It's it
sure.
is it is it is a whole new way of thinking, but
Yeah.
that's what's required. The way that we're facing life right now,
Yeah.
it's the reason why our life is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
We need a different way or lens of perception,
Yeah.
a way to address life. And
Mm-hmm.
this system teaches it. It teaches you that everything is energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? When your
Yeah.
child talks back to you, we take it personally. Who do you
Right.
think you are,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? How dare you talk back to me like that?
Mm-hmm.
But when we take ourselves out of the situation and realize that energy is being manifested, they're being triggered, which
Mm-hmm.
triggers us. And then
Mm-hmm.
we say something that triggers them. And
Yeah.
then it grows exponentially into this
Yeah.
vast disharmony.
Mm-hmm.
And this process, it teaches you a new way of looking at the situation so that you
Mm-hmm.
can step back and say, all right, I'm not going to take what you just said personally because you're
Right.
reacting from your behavior.
Right.
There is a there is a level, a degree of self-control and empowerment that comes from learning this system
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to remove yourself from the situation, not take it personally, understand that it's simply energy, that person's being triggered,
Right.
and they're reacting. Their behavior is from that.
Mm-hmm.
This allows an opportunity for us to listen.
Right.
And we do, as you know, as human beings, we say we want to be heard. But guess what? We
Yeah.
don't do a lot of good listening, do we? You
Yeah.
know, because we're so self-centric. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
us and how we're feeling in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we can teach that process
Mm-hmm.
through our
Mm-hmm.
behavior.
Right.
How is that going to change relationships,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we project our feelings and emotions onto those we love.
Mm-hmm.
They can become our emotional punching bag.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
what if we can stop that pattern? What if we can detach ourselves or separate ourselves from realize that, okay, what you're going through, let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. What
Right.
just happened there? And
Right.
all of a sudden we become more mature in the way that we approach communication with other people.
Right.
We become more mature in the way we communicate with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really these golden nuggets that come out of this technique, this system
Yeah. Yeah.
is really profound.
Very
And
cool.
that's just a part of it.
Yeah. Very wonderful. Wonderful. Bernie, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next with this?
Well, um, it's all ground roots. This is all about changing homes, changing
Mm-hmm.
saving relationships,
Mm-hmm.
saving families.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's about it's about helping people that have been struggling, you know? It's that's what it's for. It's helped me in massive ways. It's
Mm-hmm.
changed my life,
Mm-hmm.
this system. So being able to give that gift back is is really profound for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
really it's really my desire. That's why I do want to approach the mental health organizations
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
clinics and whatnot to be able to, like, it's not just, they're limited as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're limited. There are rules within the mental health system,
Hmm.
the medical system. They're bound
True.
by rules,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're not allowed to go past those rules.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if they're able to, if this system will be accepted and can be accepted by modern science, and there is science behind it, although a
Hmm.
lot of it is theoretical at this time because you
Hmm.
can't measure a shift
Right.
in, like, when you release doubt and you are no longer doubting anything in your life and you're
Hmm.
free of it. How
Yeah.
do you measure? What metrics do we have here?
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Exactly.
you know what I mean? All you
Hmm.
have is your level of freedom,
Right.
the abundance that comes in from it, but you can't
Hmm.
measure that.
Hmm.
And so it becomes theoretical,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so of course it's interesting because science science uses two mechanisms. They use uh, from basically it's from Isaac Newton. Okay. So the universe, according to Newton, and this is modern science, the
Hmm.
universe
Hmm.
is mechanistic, which
Yeah.
means that it's a machine.
Right. Yeah.
And you observe the parts of the working machine and you're able to make measurements from that.
Right. Yeah.
The other aspect is that it's reductionistic. So
Mm.
science is okay. Well, if it's reductionistic, then we can break things down to its smallest
Right.
parts and then analyze those smallest parts and
Hmm.
see what makes up the whole.
Right.
Well, this system also uses that exact same concept,
Mm.
but it's on an energetic level.
Right.
It's on the field of the
Right.
mind and the emotions.
Right.
And so there is this science is actually in it, but it's labeled theoretical.
Right.
Any psychologist would label it theoretical, and
Right.
yet it doesn't stop it from being effective every
Exactly.
single time.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Uh, what I'd love to do is again to continue to get help you. Number one, I would love to experience it, so I will be in touch with you about that.
Hmm.
Um, I also see that I can support you in number one, if we can do a global interview. And as of May, things change about who the interviews, like who gets to be interviewed.
Hmm.
Just we're switching things in a beautiful way in Bump. And so if we can get it you scheduled here in April, that would be really great.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
we can look at schedules. I will when I get my computer back up, because then I can bring up everything and see things more clearly
Yeah,
and send in some dates to you. Because I know that probably if I sent you my calendar, it would take you into May. So I want to be able to we can schedule something manually. One of the
yes,
things that we do, so I'll share with you about Bump, and you'll be able to feel into what feels like a fit. So number one, I can offer you that interview, 15 minutes, and that's streamed into ENTV, which is 24,000 people right now. And then also the people who are part of that also, because of the way that Bump is built, there's networking, and so it gets shared. And so right now it's over 70,000 people that it's within that network.
hmm
Um, we also have what are called Bump Pump calls, and that those happen every day at different times, depends on who leads. In April, I've been leading on Wednesdays. In May, I'll be leading on Thursdays, twice a day on Thursdays. And in that, it's a networking time, and
hmm
it ranges. There's maybe from 20, 25 people on it usually, and we
hmm
go around and give everybody a minute. We do it so that it keeps to an hour of time, and we go in rounds. So the first round is take a minute and share who it is that you do, or who you are, what you do, and why. And then the next round, there's different topics. Yesterday I talked, actually my theme was about time
hmm
when time stood still, and how is that situation now impacting you here. What's the goal that's come from it. Different people, and so we just have opportunity, depends on how many people are on the call, 45 seconds to 30 to 45 to a minute to share and go in round. So it's not a pitch fest. We give that time to say at the very beginning, so people know that essence. And then now from there, we get to find out who the heart and soul is, sort of more about the depths of people in those places of connecting as people. So
hmm
that's how we do it. Those happen. There is one happening today. I'm going to be on it today. It's at 11 o'clock my time, 12 o'clock noon your time.
Hmm.
If that's something you would like to join in on, I will be there. I'd be happy to welcome you in and introduce you as my guest and give you that opportunity. That would give you some exposure that way as well. Joining Bump itself can be also an opportunity for you because you're leveraging not only the network itself, but also the networking. And one of the changes that's coming in May, and this was just announced yesterday, is that as of May, Bump members who attend 3 Bump calls a day, which helps to create that support, bring guests to it. But those people get to, in June, promote anything, your work. If somebody's doing a book, you've got your system there. You get to launch that and share that into ENTV, which is the group of 24,000. So you've got an audience right there that's receptive to it, plus what's happening with when other people from the network share into their networks. So that's something that may be of interest to you as well. In Bump, there are, again, leveraging the networks networking. And it's not just Facebook, like there's the Facebook group of it that we're doing it, but it's a public group and it's going, and we'll be adding different, right now it's in Facebook, but we'll be adding different platforms along the way as it continues to grow. And that can be another way to do it. Different levels of membership in Bump give you different perks and benefits. And one of those and it's amazing. I'm saying in some ways, like everybody, no matter what level, is getting so much. Like I just kind of like, oh my goodness, how much is there? And if that's something that you want to do, you can look at what level maybe serves you in terms of continued exposure.
Sure.
There's partner channel that's an additional investment in that, but to look at different things. I will send you those links.
Please.
And if you want to, if it works for your schedule to join into the Bump Pump call, that'll be an initial thing of getting some exposure and getting introduced to the community getting introduced to you and
Yeah,
starting to
please send
share
me the
that.
link for that.
Okay.
So it's at noon. I have a client session at 1:30. So
Okay. Yeah, it'll be done by 12. So it'll be done by 1. Yeah. And you
okay.
can, if you need to log off, we just really keep it to the 1 hour to really honor people
Yep.
being there. So I will send you that for sure. And then I will also send you my link for Bump. At the end of the call, during the call, you'll meet Amos. He's the founder of ENTV and of Bump. And at the end, he will also share, and he'll put a link for people who have a discovery call with him to connect in, if you want to talk to him more about that as well. So about
Okay.
how Bump might serve you to really bring out your work into a big way in the world. So
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, please send me the link, and I'd love to join in and check it out. Have some fun.
okay, that sounds great. I will do that. I will send each of those to you, and I will in our message as well chat with you about and go onto your website again and look at how I can experience that. I do actually feel drawn because it is so much in alignment with what I do. I am feeling drawn to going into it so that I could incorporate that into my work as well.
Hmm.
And we'll see, but I'll chat with you about that, just see time wise and picture wise and the whole bit, but how that might work and look.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
1 second here. So I'm just going to stop the recording.
Yep.
And where do you stop the recording? Oh, is that it's
Um,
not letting me. Hold on.
okay.
Oh, okay. So you're recording. It looks like I didn't record.
Okay. It's interesting. Okay. So